Welcome to Swordbox Ministries. Thanks for checking in with us for our Monday message. We are blessed to have a special guest with us this week. Many of you might know him as the Chaplain of Bourbon Street. His name is Bob Harrington, and we are thankful that he has taken the time to share with us some stories about his life and his ministry. Our verse for today is found in Matthew 28:19. Go therefore, and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Lord, my only aim is that you'd reign in me again. Lord, reign in me.
On April the 15th, 1958, in that Baptist church in Sweetwater, Alabama, I gave my heart to Jesus. 3 days later, they asked me to testify, and I didn't know what that was. I thought you went to court to testify. They said, tell the story. So I got up behind that pulpit, scared to death, started telling the story. And I gave that invitation, and my mother was one of the first ones to come forward. Then Boots had worked in my daddy's store, and I had about 17 people down at the front. And one of the people, God's called you to preach, Brother Bob. I said, he couldn't call me to preach. I'm calling Job, and Deuteronomy I can't even pronounce, and Psalms I'm calling Palms. And so I went to New Orleans to go to the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. God, I was so dumb, I had to have some learning. So I went down there, and that school now, my son-in-law is president of that thing, and my daughter's a professor there on the staff, and I went to New Orleans, and I went in the seminary chapel one day, and Dr. Leo Edelman, the president at that time, said, wherever there's a pocket of sin, it's a mission field, and the nearest Christian to it is a missionary. And I got to thinking, Dr. Gray at First Baptist sent me down the French Quarter to find a runaway husband on Bourbon Street. And I got to thinking, this seems like a pretty good pocket of sin down here. I think I'll see about opening up on Bourbon Street. So I found a place with a door that had for rent on the 500 block, right next to Al Hurt, the trumpet player. So I went and asked Mr. T.J. Dalborough about that place to rent. He said, it's high. I said, well, just tell me. He said, $550 a week. I said, yeah, that is high. I said, excuse me. I said, if you give me just a little while, I'm going to go see some of my deacon friends, and I'm going to go see some of my financial friends. I'll come back and pay you 3 months rent in advance. He says, you will? I said, yeah. So he said, okay, so I did. Came back, got him that money, paid him 3 months rent in advance, put me a sign out in front of my office, Bob Harrington, Worldwide Crusades. Worldwide. I mean, the neighbor didn't even know me. Worldwide Crusades. And I just started my little office work there, and one day I heard them advertising some time on radio. They said, this radio station goes off on Saturday night at midnight. I said, I want to buy that midnight hour from 12 to 1 on Saturday night. And I want to bring you my message from Bourbon Street on Saturday night at midnight. I called it Saturday Spiritual Spectacular. And they did, and I did. And first thing you know, that radio program got so popular, it didn't have a 250 watts on the station. They heard me around the block maybe. So, but I drew a crowd on that street, standing at the doorway, preaching, had a record player inside to play some gospel songs when I wanted to rest my voice a little. And then one night I was out there just ranting and going and having fun being saved, and 300 or 400 people gathered all around out in front of me on Bourbon Street. The police rode horseback to kind of disperse the crowd a little bit. And here stood this little mustache guy in front of me. I said, what's your name? He said, my name is Victor Skiro. I said, what you do, Mr. Skiro? He said, I'm the mayor of New Orleans. I said, hey, that's good. Got a mayor here in my audience, and everybody applauded him. And He said, "You seem like the chaplain of Bourbon Street." I said, "Mayor, would you make that official?" He said, "Sure, I would." I said, "I'll come by your office next week and I'll help you draw up the proclamation proclaiming me chaplain of Bourbon Street." So he did, I did, and that's how it all got started. And that was a fun day of my life.